Oh, Dwayne Wade's excited. He's amped up. D-Wade, Dominique, and Dirk, Triple D's, they're jumping around. We're all excited, ready to get this game underway. What's happening, everybody? Today I'm bringing you a Euro team. But not only is this a Euro team, but this is a Western Euro team. The roster's comprised of citizens from the UK, Germany, Belgium, France, with France by far being the biggest contributor, having 3 starters in Joakim Noah, Dominique Wilkins, and Tony Parker. As we see Carmelo doing his thing, getting to the rack, putting the ball in the hoop. You know he's good for that. Now, I've seen a lot of demand online, not to my channel because I don't have any subscribers, but for other commentators to, hey, so-and-so, let's run a Euro team. You know, best players from overseas, this and that. Well, there's too much talent, so why not go a step further and break the European roster down into 3 segments. This first segment that I'm going to feature is the Western European team. Got a lot of superstars, got some shooters. Overall, probably arguably the best of the 3 teams that I'm looking at. The second team that I'm going to look to create, it's going to require me to pull a Vlade Divac player, silver legend, Sacramento Kings, I think, for the game. Maybe it's the Lakers, but I think it's the Kings. And this will allow me to complete the team from Eastern Europe. Guys like Drazen Petrovic, Toni Kukoc, Vlade Divac, Marcin Gortat. You know, and that's going to be a comparable team too. They should be able to compete. And the third and final Euro team that I would like to eventually establish is the Southern team. That's going to have the Spaniards, the Italians, Greeks, and the Turks from the southern regions of Europe. That team's going to be stacked as well. You've got Ricky Rubio, the Gasol brothers, Danilo Gallinari, Marco Bellinelli, Omer Asik, Nikolai Pekovic. I mean, there are definitely some players in the southern regions as well. Tony Parker, klepto for cookies. He's going to kick off this fast break, turn that into points. Detlef Schrempf, the German, says, let me have some of that. Now, Tony Parker, he really is an outstanding point guard. Top 5 in the NBA. Probably not top 3 in my book. I think he's still better than a guy like Steph Curry, a guy like Kyrie. At least at this point he is. But the Heat have made the statement that at the current state of affairs, a point guard driven basketball team is not going to be able to pass them and win an NBA title. And if you don't believe me, you could ask some of the Spurs and ask some of the Chicago Bulls how their point guard driven teams have fared against the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade with a nice drive to the rack. This guy, my opponent, he had pretty good handles, pretty good drive moves. Seemed like he was getting to the rim often enough. Detlef Schrempf with a strong take. Carmelo forces him to miss the shot, but he goes to the line. He's going to try to knock down 2 for his country. And he succeeds in doing that. He's got a foreign roster of his own. Pitches it over to Gerald Green, and you know Gerald Green, he is a monster in this game. Hopefully they adjust that. 2k14, can you hear me? Dominique Wilkins gonna slash to the other side for the reverse dunk. Playing a pretty high tempo game. Got a lot of up and down fast break action, a lot of outlet passing, and that suits me fine. I've got Tony Parker, I've got Dominique Wilkins, Dirk with a nice play. Tony gonna dish it back to Dominique, but Dominique cannot keep the hot streak alive. He blows the dunk. Gary Neal's gonna run to the other side and knock that down for a triple. Ouch. And now it's back to 18-18 all. I'm gonna force that with Detlef. He's breaking to the other side of the court. You know it. Wilkins comes up with the loose ball. One more try. He's gonna blow this one as well. Too bad, Detlef. You might have just lost some minutes. Joakim Noah to the line. Texas Tornado at the free throw. You know, I'm normally pretty successful with his shot. I don't know what happened this time around. I blow both of these. We can just go ahead and blame that on the internet connection. Just say it was a little bit off. As we head into the second quarter, he's ignoring Gerald Green in the corner. He finally gets him the ball. Chris Kaman with the board. We're looking to move it down the floor. Nicholas Batum, let's see what he's got. He takes it to the rack. Nothing there. Try it again. Spin around, making people look foolish. Nice drive, nice finish. Nicholas Batum is a very solid small forward in this game, especially in the MyTeam mode. But Tony Parker is definitely the leader of this team, the leader of the French national team, and has been for some time, been one of the best players out of Europe.
Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. My name is Dan Levy. I'm delighted to be joined here by Tony Parker, French basketball player, a 3-time NBA champion and a 4-time NBA All-Star. You're also the MVP for the NBA Finals in 2007. I believe you're the first European to have that particular accolade. Of course, now you're looking ahead to the Olympic Games with France. The first time for you at the Olympic Games, of course. France haven't qualified since the year 2000. However, you almost missed it because you had an eye injury. You actually had to undergo eye surgery. Quite a bizarre incident in a New York nightclub. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
Oh, it was just a crazy night. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was just having fun with my friends, and just a big mess started like late in the night, and you know, just it happens. You know, it's life, and it was a very scary moment for me because in the process I injured my eye and I almost missed the Olympics because of that. You know, almost lost my eye. So it puts everything in perspective.
And luckily you recovered. You had to spend though several days, I believe, in a kind of quarantine in a hotel room to prevent infections.
Yeah, like a whole week. A whole week I had to do surgery. You know, I had to go to emergency and surgery that put me asleep. And I had a full recovery. I had to stay a week in my hotel and didn't do anything. So it was just, like I said, like a scary process. But now, you know, I'm feeling better, and hopefully, you know, I'll be ready for the Olympics.
Not to make you relive it too much, but what were you thinking in that hotel room? You know, were you kind of black glasses on, and were you kind of obviously you were quite concerned?
Life. Just think about life and how quick it can change, and make sure you know you appreciate everything you have, and make sure you know life is just a beautiful thing, and so try to take advantage of the fullest and not take anything for granted.
It's really been one of your dreams, I think I'm right in saying, to play at the Olympic Games. You watched the Dream Team in '92. I think that was your first Olympics that you really saw.
Yeah, the Dream Team, like a lot of people in Europe, it was just the first time that we saw like all the NBA guys, and they were all like legends for us. And so they definitely made me want to play basketball and go to the NBA. And that's the first time I dreamed about going to the Olympics, and it became one of my dreams.
And obviously now with the France team, it is a boost to have you, of course, there in the team. How far do you think the French team can go? Have you guys set a target, a specific target?
Yeah, our target is to try to go as far as we can, you know, try to get a medal. We had a lot of setbacks, obviously, with myself. Didn't practice a lot. We lost Joakim Noah to injury, his ankle, and he's a big part of what we do. And so we have a lot of up and downs in our preparation. But you know, in a competition, if you can go to the quarterfinals, then in one game, you know, anything can happen. So we just have to stay together and make sure we stay positive.
And you're obviously coming off the back of, could I say individually, your best season perhaps so far. Obviously you didn't win a title this year, but you certainly had an amazing season in terms of your stats. I know that you worked hard to become more consistent. That was really one of the things you wanted in your game.
Definitely. I think as a basketball player, I always try to improve. Every year I want to bring something different, and I never want to be satisfied. And so I just always try to push myself. And so as Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, they get older. Pop, my coach, gave me a lot of responsibility, put a lot on my shoulders this year, and it was just a great challenge for me. And so we had a great year. It was just that we didn't go all the way, but we were pretty close, and we'll be right back at it next year.
I heard you say something interesting. You said that you weren't afraid to go backwards to go forward. You weren't afraid to score less points for a while so that you could be much better later on. What exactly does that represent for you?
Well, I think it is like the process started with my jump shot. I felt like I was not consistent enough with my outside shooting, and so I was not afraid to take a shooting coach and maybe shoot bad for like 15, 20 games, but I know it will make me a better player, and that process worked for me. And so I think I'm never afraid of sometimes, you're just not improving as fast as you want, but you're working on some stuff, and then later on you'll see the results.
And you said that Joakim Noah, of course, won't be there, the Chicago Bulls player. He's a very important player, the center in your team, and he's not recovered from his ankle injury. It is a huge blow not for him to be there.
A huge blow. He's one of our main guys, and defensively, he's our main guy. He takes so much space in the paint and blocking shots and controlling the rebounds for us. And it's just everybody's going to have to step up.
And looking ahead to Olympic Games where you'll be playing against the United States in the group stages. It's actually the first match on the 29th of July. That must be a special match for you. Your father's American, and there'll be a lot of familiar faces in the opposition.
Oh, definitely. It's a special game for me. Watching the Olympics in 1992 and watching the final in 2000 when France played against USA. So I always dream about playing USA. And so it's nice to play them in the first game. I know my dad will be happy, and my mom will be in the stands, and it'll be a special moment. And hopefully, we can go far and play them against in the final.
I guess your dad's supporting France.
Yeah, that'd be great if we can do that.
And of course, playing a lot of familiar faces, and there's been a lot of talk about this perhaps becoming a new dream team. Kobe Bryant saying that this current team could possibly beat the '92 Dream Team, which, just to put in context for some people who maybe don't know about basketball, is kind of talked of as the greatest sporting side ever to play any sport ever, in the way they won games and the ease. What do you think of the comparison?
I think he's just saying that to make conversation, because you can't compare to the Dream Team. There'll only be one Dream Team, and I think the Dream Team will be the best team ever, and they have the best player ever who played basketball. So they'll never, even if they play against each other, I think the Dream Team will win.
They had a lot of big names: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and the man you just mentioned, of course, Michael Johnson. I saw a photo of you with him. Michael Jordan. I saw a photo of you with him when you were 14 years old. I imagine he was probably your idol.
Oh, definitely, yeah, he was my idol growing up. He's one of the main reasons why I wanted to be a basketball player. He inspired me, and for me, he's the best ever in our sport. And everything that he did for basketball, he brought basketball all the way to the top, all over the world.
And what made him so special as a player? What did you see in him that you wanted to emulate?
Defensively, he was great, and he was great at everything. There's not one thing that he could do.
Tony, you read these amazing statistics about how up to 60% of NBA stars within 5 years of ending their careers go bankrupt. Obviously, there are huge sums of money that are earned by players, but there's a lot of things to manage when you become that big a star that quickly. You yourself, obviously, have done a lot to make sure your money's safe. And can you tell us a little bit about what the NBA does to stop that kind of thing?
I think the NBA is doing a good job on that. Every year, 2 or 3 times, we meet people to show you how to handle your money and make sure you have a plan for your life. All those guys who comes from tough neighborhoods, sometimes it's tough to become millionaires, and then they don't know how to handle it. And I think the NBA, with all those meetings, will cut that statistic, and all those guys will appreciate and make sure they take care of the money and take care of their families.
I think one of the things that people don't realize is that they are often spending a lot of that money looking after the people close to them.
Yeah, definitely, but you have to find a happy middle. You have to find a balance.
And you yourself, you tend to invest quite prudently. I know you invested in a number of things, including Asvel, the team in France, and some other businesses in the United States as well.
Yeah, I like to give back, and so my investment with Asvel was to give back to French basketball. After my career, I want to be like president of a French basketball team, and Asvel is the most historic team in France, and so for me it was nice to have an opportunity to get involved with that famous French team.
And you played with them during the lockout. We've just seen Steve Nash at 38 years old signing at the LA Lakers. Do you think about ending your career in the NBA or perhaps spending some time in France before?
I don't know. I think I'll try to play in the NBA as long as I can, and Steve Nash is a great example. He's a good example for me to follow because I'm a student of the game. I'm very passionate and I want to play as long as I can. And maybe play with my last year in France, maybe. I always open the door to that. I always say to the French people, maybe I'll play my last year. But for now, I'm just focused on the NBA and play as long as I can in the NBA.
I wanted to talk a quick bit about Pop. You mentioned earlier, Greg Popovich, your coach. He's an extraordinary man. He has currently the longest tenure as coach of any club in the major American sports. You obviously have a special relationship with him. How does a guy like him kind of maintain that level of motivation amongst his players and the respect and the hunger?
I don't know, he's just one of the best. You know, the way he carries himself and the way he managed the team. I don't know, to compare in Europe, you can compare him to Sir Ferguson. You know,
yeah, exactly.
That's a good comparison. Like, he's just the man like a lot of respect, and everybody respect him in the NBA. And you know, the way he brings it every day, he's just motivated, and he always try to push everybody to try to be the best we can. And that's why we had one of the most unbelievable run in the NBA. The last 15 years, we've been winning, you know, every year and winning records. And he's got 4 championships. And hopefully we can do one more time.
He's 4 championships. He's always in the playoffs. He's an extraordinary character. I also want to talk to you about another thing, your signature move. Not many players in the NBA, I think, have their own signature move. This is the teardrop. Can you just explain to us what that is a little bit?
It was just a shot that I try to do since I'm small. I was always small growing up. It took me a long time to get to like 6'2", 6'3". I was always the smallest and the skinniest, and so that was my only way to try to score basketball, is to shoot the teardrop over the bigs. Yeah, like kind of lob shot. You know, you have all those big guys try to block your shot, and so that was my only way to score. And so I just try to perfect it. And when I came in the NBA, that was my bread and butter. It was just my go-to move.
And listen, we want to tell you then, thank you very much for being with us, and good luck for London as well.
Thank you.
The last time, you said you wanted to play that dream final with the States, then the last time that France were in the final, that happened in Sydney, and it also happened back in 1948 in London as well, so hopefully that can happen again.
We'll see, hopefully.
And maybe go one better with the gold. Thanks very much, Tony Parker.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to the crew here of Fire Productions. You're watching France 24. More news coming up.
And for those of you that don't know, the incident in New York in the nightclub that they were referring to in the first part of that interview was a brawl between the entourages / the party of Chris Brown and Drake. Now, these two rappers, singers, entertainers find each other far too beautiful to actually engage in fisticuffs, so they decided to throw bottles and put everybody in New York, including little Tony Parker's eye, at risk, because he was struck with a bottle or with some glass during the melee that ensued. But Tony Parker recovered. I think he did file a lawsuit. I'm not sure if it was against them or against the club, but I'm confident that he sued somebody. Gerald Green's going to head over here and file a MyTeam special, but it won't drop for him. Ben Gordon trying to get out in transition, but they beat us back. Hand it off to Tony. Now, I'm going to try to force the ball in here with Dominique Wilkins, but there's nothing there. Joakim Noah, fortunately, there to clean it up. Gives us a second chance, but nothing happens. Carlos Boozer on the other side there to help us out. Tony Parker picks it up. He fouls me. He's tired of watching the offensive rebounds. So I decide to throw the ball away. He gets it. I'm mad, so I rip it back. And then I'm happy, so I throw it away. Dear God, let this possession be over. Gerald Green with the ball. He converts on the other end. Gonna get it to Ben Gordon representing the United Kingdom. Back to Tony Parker. Looking for Carlos Boozer inside, but he's not there. Dominique trying to force it again. Can't come up with anything. He calls a timeout. It's nice to see somebody actually using Jason Kidd on the floor. Not only that, but they're repping those extra sharp black Suns jersey that everybody enjoys so much. It looks like he's trying to pressure me a little bit now. Trying to switch it up, see if he can force some turnovers. And he does. JaVale McGee, all 7 foot of him, gets in Tony Parker's way. Easy 2 points at the other end. I'm down by 2 points late in the game. I'm not worried about it. I've got Ben Gordon for a tray ball. You know it doesn't stop. I'm not going to let you get your defense set. I'm going to keep bringing the heat to you. He wants to answer right back. I need to step up my defensive intensity. I'm going to start bringing double teams on anybody I think is a threat. Jason Kidd, he doesn't want to shoot it, so he tries to kick it over to Wade, follow up with a swing pass, but Tony Parker is there with another clutch steal. Fellow Frenchman Boris Diaw is there for the finish. It really is impressive to have seen and witnessed the trend of international players over the past decade or so coming into the NBA and how their gameplay has influenced our own American NBA league. You know, that's an American sport, but their influence is so strong that it can't be denied. And this is far more than just a Euro step cheeser 3. It has to do with spacing. It has to do with versatile big man that can step out and shoot, play the pick and roll much better than traditional big man could. And if you were to ask most of the international players, especially the European players in today's game, what influenced them most, they're almost all going to tell you it was the '92 Dream Team. What that event, what that team did for the game of basketball on a global scale will never be replicated. And we are still reaping the benefits to this day, 20 years later.